success is like getting pregnant. Everybody congratulate you, but we know how much we tried for that.
Did you get this by any chance, Musaba?
I don't know why I read it somewhere,
Okay.
but it's stayed with me for I don't know. It's stayed in my mind.
But good one. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yes, so when you can talk about the book.
Yeah, yeah. So good evening, everyone. Again, I hope you all are safe and healthy at home. So today I'm going to talk about the law of expansion. That is about the growth in life. One fine day we wake up and feel that okay, I have earned enough. I'm the back of the company. I'm the CEO of the company. I've done achieved enough. I'm earning more than anybody in my family, friends, circle, everything. This is my capacity, and I'm gonna quit here. So really think you think that after coming to certain stage that will be your capacity, and you can that I mean you can set your limit and say that this is my capacity. I cannot do more than that. The answer is obviously no, because most of the experts says that only 10% of the true potential of a human being used by an individual. So what can you do to increase your capacity and learn and to grow in life is like to stop thinking and start thinking. Basically, it is all there in the mind. If you start expanding your mind, definitely it will, you start expanding your life as well. So ask yourself three questions. Before that, I would like to say there are many people who are working really hard in life. Okay? They work more than 12 hours, sometimes 14 hours, but they're not getting the reward which they deserve, or let's say they are earning very less, but for that they're doing a lot of hard work. So sometimes you have to sit back and analyze and ask yourself, what is the thing which you are required to do, and what gives you the maximum reward, and what gives you the maximum return. So if you just sit back and analyze about your work, then you'll definitely be able to understand in which way I can grow my career or anything you are working upon. And also it happens a lot of the time that we set a limits by asking ourselves, can I do this? Instead of asking can I, you should go for how can I. Let's say if someone is inviting for us the book club, the first thing is like, can I do this? Like, will I be able to read every day? Will I be able to speak confidently? Will I be able to make the pointers? Instead of that, if you ask yourself, how can I do better in the book club, that's when the positive ideas start pouring. So you should always ask yourself, how can I do things better in life? And they say Rome was not built in a day, right? I mean, whenever you're trying to do something, the halfway always looks very messy. Especially in the middle of something, you feel like it's a big failure. I should not have attempted this. I should not have done this. But what you should keep going on with a lot of patience and consistency. So never give up in the middle way. So that's what the author is trying to say here. And how to expand your growth. I mean, he has given few tips there. Stop doing the things which you are doing again and again. Like try to come out of your comfort zone and try to do something which you have not done before. By that, your creativity increases and also a lot of ideas start pouring in your mind. And the next step would be stop doing the thing which is expected and start doing which is more than expected. Let's say a very common example, because we all are from IT. If the boss is asking for 3 reports, you can actually prepare 5 reports and give it to him. That means don't set a limit that only this is the work I'm expected to do. I'll do only this much. This is my capacity. Always try to do more. And we all have a goal in life, right? Like let's say someone wants to be financially independent, someone wants to grow their business. So there are certain things in life which are very important to them. So instead of doing them occasionally, let's say if someone wants to be financially independent, they are reading financial related books or watching videos once in a month. That will take them nowhere. So start doing things which are really important to you, which matters to your growth every day. Okay, and also he has given not only reading that how can you apply the law of expansion in your life. Basically, you have to ask yourself, if I had no limitations, or if I could never fail, what is the thing I would have done in life? And if I had no financial barrier or no fear of failure, what is the thing I would have done in life? So sometime take a pen and paper, sit down calmly and ask yourself, right? Write honest answers. If there was no barrier, what is the thing I would have done in life? And apply the same concept which I told before. Don't ask, can I do this? Ask that, how can I do that? So the ideas start coming into your mind and actually can increase the growth in your life. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. That was a great talk. And I think with expansion, I was listening to this girl today, Mithila Palkar. All of us know her, right? She's internet sensation and an artist, actor, Mumbaiker, proper Mumbaiker. I was listening to her and her story. I mean, I have heard it a couple of times, but I keep listening to it because uh, she has spoken really good words in TED Talks as well. And she says, you might not be good at one thing, but you might be good at three other things. So start experimenting. It's okay to experiment, fail. It's okay to fail, but failure shouldn't stop you. It should actually make you fearless and move on and experiment more. So I kind of could relate when you said it is about expansion, and you should not stop. You should experiment and actually go ahead and explore more things around you, which is a really good one. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Suman.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and I saw Vinuta on call. Hi, Vinuta.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Hi, Vinuta. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh,
Is there any disturbances in my voice?
no, it's clear now. So you missed the first bit of it. We are sharing a funny quotation that we could relate to, like funny quotes that you see. If you have something, you can say it. Okay. Vinita, can you hear me?
Yes, Darshan. My bad. The internet is very bad over here, so I'll be only on my.
Okay. Okay. You're talking about your book or no?
Yeah, I'll be talking.
Okay, then you can continue with your book. And if you remember or realize a funny quotation that you could relate to, or you laugh at or smile at, please share it with us.
Funny quotation, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not getting, but let me try later.
No problem. You can browse also after some time and you can share it with us. You can continue with your.
Sure. Good evening, one and all present here. So, I'm Vinita. I'm from Mysore. So today I'll be presenting the topic. The book named as The Compound Effect, which is written by Darren Hardy. So this book is all about success and what it really takes to earn it. So I'm just so excited to finally present this book in front of you all. The main point seems to be is that success is small, inglorious acts. Like it is repeated when it is like what you say. The main point is that the success is just a small and it is very inglorious act. So repeated with discipline over time, right? So sometimes we think that success is like that big monumental things we do, like it's quite let do a huge thing and now it's your success. But Darren Hardy says no, it's like the little things that we do, maybe no one is paying attention to. Sometimes it happens, right? That maybe you are, they feel like you're very boring. Sometimes whatever you're doing, you feel like it's very tedious or that maybe your hard work as well. So just have the discipline to engage yourself time and again and again and again. And again, it's like, let me give you an example, like uh, how a small things will make impact. Like little drop of water that drops on a stone and at first it'll be there'll be nothing to happen, but if you look over after many years, that little drop of water starts to make that big impact in, and that starts to be a cradle formed in that stone, right? So this is how. So that small, this compound effect means like not just putting your entire effort at one shot. It is like going step by step to earn that success. I can also say that success is hard. It is very tedious, right? So it's not so easy. And this is contrary. People wanna tell us. I think it's a good thing to just tell yourself, hey, you know what? It's it's a good thing to be worked. It's good to be hard. If I want to make it happen, I have to dig in and pull my shoulder to the wheel and just stay at it. So we already know that we need to success. The thing is, people feel that information is is what you all need to success. No, this is not the true one. The thing is, we should have a new plan of success, or sorry, the new plan of action. That means, I think, hope you all agree with me, right? So people think that sometimes, or I only do this sometimes for myself, and many people do this sometimes. Okay, let me think that. Okay, let me read that book next time, next mentor, next training, next videos, just that next skill that we tend to put our success over there and say, oh my gosh, or just I want to get this thing, and I will be able to succeed only if I have everything. So that we have to stop. Suppose if you want to be successful, so you have to start. Okay, I'll give you my example only. So if I have to get a job, so I have to what I have to do? Start searching rigorously, and I have to be active all the way. Like I have to start preparing small video of myself and uploading in the YouTube, or be socially active in LinkedIn. So it is like, if you want to get recognized, or if you want to become a public figure, so if you want to get that all success, you have to see that, like, what is that one little steps you can take, and that will lead to that higher success. So I'll be continuing with the same book in the next week also. Thank you, Tashin.
Thanks a lot, Vinita. That is a very thoughtful talk. When I saw the compound, the topic, I mean, you had the compound effect. I thought you're talking about finances. I didn't know it was about about adding little value every time you put in an effort towards your success. And I think that's what is, I mean, that's what is going to actually give you the success that we talk about, or adding a skill or practicing the skill that we have every time that we want to excel in it. I mean, great talk, and thank you so much, Vinita. That adds a lot of value to my thought process. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see Ramesh Krishnan. Do we have Ramesh Krishnan?
No.
Suresh? How about Suresh? Sam, I don't see
Suresh Shetty also is not there. I think you can bring up Dharmaraj.
Dharmaraj,
Couple
yeah.
of them message me saying there is office calls.
Okay.
Dharmaraj.
Dharmaraj? The
Yes.
Atomic Habits. Yes, sir.
So the interesting topic of the book is motivation is overrated, environment matter most. So by reading this phrase, I remember, like, personally, I can attach this quote, like, in my college days, and also when I was struggling from the job. I was, every second day I go to the YouTube and listening to Sandeep Maheshwari, like, मैं कर सकता हूँ, मैं कर सकता हूँ, मैं कर सकता हूँ. And it motivates me, like, for 2-3 days. Okay, I'll charge and I'll again start. Then after resignation, or if something hurdle come to, in the coding, and if not clearing the interview or some exam, whatever. So again, I have to go to that Sandeep Maheshwari, but it not working in the long run. Then I came Bangalore, and in the hostel I was staying. So everyone was struggling for the job, but they are, like, consistently, working on their skill. They wrote it down, like, I'm weak in my English and communication and aptitude. I'm good with the coding. So we interchange the things. He teach me coding, I teach him anything. He teach me something. So it was an environment, like, teaching everyone. So everyone was, like, getting something new, by me to him, he to me. So that was the environment. I realized by this one, why, yes, we created the environment, and which affect everyone. By getting the motivation from the YouTube or any other person, so it will affect you for in a short time, 1 day, 2 day, 10 days. After that, some difficulty you face and say, yaar, फिर से अभी battery low हो गया, or something you will not get to. So that was the first thing. Motivation is overrated. Like, everyone is like, अरे यार motivation नहीं है, कुछ करना पड़ेगा. But no, don't go with the motivation. Just try to focus on your environment. Be with the good people. Be with the good Go with the people who can listen to you, who can understand you. Don't go with the Gyan Guru only, who can just give you Gyan Guli. That's the simple thing. And second one is in the environment. Second point is the example which book gave me. Also, we can relate with the India and Indian people, like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So, like before the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, like it's my personal opinion, every Indian who is literate, illiterate, or anything, we are just throwing everything everywhere, not thinking about someone is watching us or not. We are literate, we should go and dump it in the dustbin or what. But after the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan spreading in the calls, news, posters everywhere, so we are thinking, okay, I should not throw this. Or even in some places like where we used to go, like people gathering places. So previously, before Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, there was rarely one or two dustbin were there. But recently, if you see, there are more than 10 dustbin. Like everywhere you see, you can find a dustbin, and you don't need to throw everywhere. Just go and uh, put your dump in the dustbin. So this is how you need to surround yourself with the positive thing or the thing you want to get again and again. Second example of the same thing about the environment, like when work from home started, so we continue sit and working. Now what happened is we forgot to drink water, and whenever we thirsty, we go to the kitchen and we drink and we come. Then I realized, like within a week I'm feeling kind of dehydrated. So what I used to do, I just keep 2 bottles, fill, and put it on a table. So every 3-4 hours, I'll just complete the bottle. So if you want to get the habit of drinking water or avoid the munching every time while working, some people have biscuits or snack they want with them. So try to avoid those surrounded you, whether it's your work table, whether it's your bedroom. Like a drinking water bottle, put everywhere, like 3-4 places around your table or around your bed. So you will non intentionally, but psychologically you will drink it. You will complete the quota of 4 liter every day. And if you want to stop munching while working or while watching TV or something, just try to throw that packet in the kitchen. Like you are a lazy body, you don't want to go, and you will say okay. So by doing this kind of small thing, you will get a good habit also, you can avoid the bad habit. Okay. So this is the effect of environment. And third example which book gave, it's very kind of you can everyone relate. They observe 2 houses. One house have a electricity meter in their hall, and one house has electricity meter in their basement. So just think, like which one have a bigger amount of electricity bill?
The basement.
Basement.
Yes, because the reason is the people who have a electricity bill in their hall, they used to roam around the hall and they say, okay, why we are using this bulb if we are no need? They switch off. They switch off the fan if it no need, and they just keep intentionally or non-intentionally, they just have an eye on their electricity meter. But the people who doesn't have electricity meter in their in front of them, they just avoid the negligence of stop switching off the fan, switching off the light, which is using unnecessary. Even I have that bad habit, because the place I grown up, I didn't see the electricity bill. Even now we don't have electricity, water, and disconnection bill. This is which is free. So I also, like every time I scolded by my wife, like, you again forget to switch off the fan, you just came to hall and you forget. And so this kind of bad habit I have. But yeah, things to remember is like keep eye on a track which you want to avoid and which you want to get. Small, but everyday track can make a bigger impact in the long run. So that's about the today's learning.
Wow, Dharm, that was a great talk. I mean, absolutely amazing. I could relate to each and every example that you gave, I think. And especially the meter. Yeah, I remember it. I remember fiddling with the meter units also. So to ensure it is not moving. And there used to be some sort of, I don't know, some sort of a disc which used to rotate in the meter box. I don't know how many of you know, or if I'm too old for that, but we used to have that, and I used to hold that, I mean, once that mirror is broken, the glass is broken, I used to hold it so it does not rotate the units or something like that. So I could relate, and now we don't even care about what kind of electricity bill we get. End of the month we get it, 15th we get it, and before 29th we pay. That's all we know. We do not know what is happening. And yeah, very, very, very true. I think it's all about your intentions, and if you want to motivate yourself, be it external or internal, I think internally you should be more ready to accept the facts and ensure that you're moving in the right direction. With great talk, thank you so much there. Sam, do you have anything to say?
I just remember my childhood days where we used to keep this film, I don't know, this X-ray film in the meter, and they used to say that okay, if you keep it there, the meter stops. It will not go. Initially, there were some different kind of meters. Actually, we used to do that to reduce electricity.
Those boxes, right? The black boxes.
Correct.
Even now
Yes.
they're same, isn't it?
Some
No, but
people
now
are
it is
using magnet
magnet
surround
and
them.
film
Yes.
and all. Like nowadays, are more digital, right? So we cannot do anything on the digital.
Now we don't get to see only, Sam. Where do we see the meters now? Somewhere in the basement where we don't even know where they are. But yeah, right. I just recalled whatever we used to do. But thank you so much, Dharam. And we don't have Tamarai. I don't see Alok. Do you see Ramesh? Yeah. Hi, Ramesh. Dharm. Sorry, Ramesh. Dharm, you forgot to see the quotation.
Yes, the quotation is every time when I make a decision, I said, okay, let's do this. जो होगा देखा जाएगा, but जो हो रहा है अब देखा नहीं जा रहा है.
Okay, good one. You made us laugh a lot today, but yeah, really good one. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I think Ramesh is busy in call.
Ramesh,
Probably I don't know.
yes.
Anybody else want to speak? Swati, you want to speak? You have prepared anything?
Bashir, Sam. Okay, Bashir is
Nothing
not
is
there.
there.
Swati.
So you can speak. You can speak, Tasin.
Yes, yes, Sam. I'll tell my quotation at the end. Okay, I don't want to embarrass myself, but it's okay. It's the same book, The Creative Curve by Alan Gannett. So, I mean, we've been talking, right, about creativity, taking inspiration. It's not only quality or quantity, it can be either of those. And we have spoken about a lot of examples, Darwin's theory last week. And Alan has done something very interesting about this book is he went and interviewed multiple people just to ensure that he gets stories from various genre, not just one genre, and stick to one of it. So because we have this preconceived notion where we think the creativity is only in the art or actors or painters or anything which is related to art, right, basically. But we never thought any job that we do requires a lot of creativity, or even a little bit of creativity to each and every task that you complete, correct? In these times, when we start working, when we start analyzing data in finance, or when we start fixing an issue or coding or scripting, or even in dealing with humans in human resources, there are a lot of things which are already practiced, but there is always a creative bit that we add. As a person, when I talk to someone, as a HR or an engagement professional, if I talk to someone, I add my creativity to it or my thought processes to it. It's a regular call that I am talking to an employee to understand what's the situation, challenges or successes, whatever it is. When I'm talking, this is a regular call, but how do I add value from my end is really, really important. That's the creative bit that we talk about. Correct. And Sam keeps saying that he has automated a lot of things at his work, so it reduces his workload, which is again creativity. Only he can do it, right? Or he would have shared it with his teammates who can do it because he shared it, or they will improvise it and add their creativity. In this book, in this particular chapter, What is a Genius, the next part, Alan speaks about a professor Mihaly. I have not heard of him, and I understood he wrote a really famous book called Flow, and he has a TED talk on flow, and also the famous phrase that we speak about, getting into the flow, right? We keep saying that we must get into the flow, or we should get into the flow, all these things. He has made it very, very famous. And I was listening to his TEDx today. Nothing extraordinary, right? But the way he explains about creativity, or the way he actually broke down the creativity and said there are three important elements to the creativity bit of it from his perspective. And the first one is subject matter. No matter what you're doing, your domain, if you want to excel in any of it, you have to understand the domain well. That's the reason we have subject matter experts in every profession, correct? Because they understand the domain, they know in and out of the domain, they know in and out of the subject that they're doing or working on. And I mean, like he also gave a couple of examples. When you know you're a subject matter expert, when you have read something and you want to write something on the similar lines, you add your tint to it, correct? So, like in Catholics or in Christians, you have Bible, which is New Testament and Old Testament. But those are inspirations which are taken, correct? And changed based on the need or based on the cultural developments that we have had in the recent times. And also in music, they say the pops or the recent Western musics that we add has evolved over time, but every music should have a symphony of old classical, without which it cannot be created. That is the inspiration that was already created. So even if you are an expert, you have to understand the ground rules and create your own or add your creativity. That's the first thing he talks about, to be a subject matter expert and evolve from there. And the second thing he says is about gatekeepers. Very interesting. I have never thought about it. And what he says, no matter how creative you are, if you do not have a gatekeeper, say, uh, for example, we all know actors, right? They have their managers. Why do they have their managers? To understand if the subject is right, if they're doing right things, if the advertisement which has come to them aligning to their personality, aligning to their public figure, and is it going to reach the people in right direction, right? So it is very, very important that you have a gatekeeper who can actually show you the right direction. It can be anyone, like gallery owners. If you are a painter, you need an art gallery, right? A gallery owner is a gatekeeper for you. He is creating that place for you. You're going to publish your art there. So it is very important, whatever you do, no matter what it is, you have to be you need to have a gatekeeper or a manager who actually shows you right way. I'm not saying there should be only a person, but in the recent times, if you take after this internet and virtual world, all of this, books, I mean, reading books or not buying the physical book or tangible book is no more a fashion. Now we have Kindle, Amazon, and they have got so many I mean, so much of opportunity for the creators, for the writers, and also for the readers. Right now, writers will reach out to Amazon, and Amazon is a gatekeeper for them. They are creating those lines or path or way for multiple writers. And I heard the genre of romance novels, right? It has grown 60% in last 5 years because of Kindle. Because people started reading a lot because it is available. It is easily available. You do not have to go and buy a physical book, and you can just go and watch it or read it or whatever it is. So that's how the gatekeeper is going to show you the path, and it is very, very important to have right person. And the third one, and the most important, is the individual. So you yourself, if you want to be a very creative person, and if you think you're creative, like we spoke last time, it is very important to reach public. It is very important to create interest in public. No one can become a creative person until unless he reaches public and gets the credibility, saying that he or she has achieved something or done something or showcased something which adds value. Correct? If you are a really good painter and you're not reaching out to the public, but you're having all those on your wall, does not make any sense. Correct. And also for you to be labeled as being a creative person, it is very, very important that you go ahead and reach out to people, show that you're doing it and brand yourself. I mean, we keep talking about branding ourselves, right? Be it at work, if you want to go to the next position, you always have to brand yourself, tell your managers or your leadership team that you want to achieve this or you want to do this. If you do not say, no one will listen to you. At any given point, it is very important to brand yourself and say, this is what I am and this is what I want to do, and show your work. That's when they're going to realize that there is capability which is hidden in you, which you want to showcase. And I mean, like I said, all these three things, right? Subject matter, gatekeepers, or individuals, all these three things work together. And as an individual, you should be in a position where you can persuade a good gatekeeper and also work on your own subject to ensure you enhance your skills. That's how you're going to be more creative, and also uh, entire world or the people or the audiences that you want to showcase will realize your value. That's about it from my end. Thank you.
One good one, Dasin. I think
Thanks,
good gatekeeper concept actually.
yeah.
So it's really good. So in case we cannot see our blind spots as well. Just like mentor or coach says, gatekeeper concepts are good where you come to know that okay where you're going wrong and things like that. So I recently implemented, I think 1 year back, implemented something in my office called as traffic cop concept actually. So this is one person who will be watching out all the team members, but he will not tell when is he going to watch out. He randomly picks up email, he randomly picks up what work he does, just doing a quality check what he has done, whether he has done correctly or not. It's not that a formal kind of thing. He is a traffic cop, so anybody can caught there. It's not that he will stop all the vehicles, but he will stop only whenever he sees okay there is something problem in that vehicle. He picks up and then
Okay.
it's really
Oh,
good
nice,
concept.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think it creates platform also, right? Because at times we are not very vocal about our own art or our own creativity. So there should be someone who can actually vouch for us or talk for us or create that platform, which is very, very important. And I could actually I mean, I could get a couple of more pointers when I was thinking about that particular concept, and which is very, very, very good actually. I kind of liked it.
I think the credibility part is also really good because I know most of them agree with it actually. So when we see people successful, so we see them okay successful this time, and they would have spent like 10 years in the behind, creating the credibility, creating the trust with people, going online, offline, talking to people, doing trainings, everything, and all of a sudden in 1 year they make huge amount of money and they become successful, and you see them as successful. You say, oh my God, he's making so much of money, but
So much.
nobody thinks about the 10 years of effort he has put to make himself successful, put across in the market, position himself in the market, people start liking him, and all those stuff actually takes a long time.
True.
It's good
Like
stuff.
Apple, it failed like so many times when they launched, but we all knew only once it got successful. Correct? So that's how it is. And that's about it.
Where is your quote?
Oh, Joe. Okay, I'll tell a funny quote. Okay, I mean, I kind of realized it when I was actually doing something today, and then I felt okay. We will have this activity. At least we can smile a little. So I'm like petite in height. Like I'm short. Okay, I don't know if you could make it from my this thing, but I'm short, and people used to send me these minion jokes. These cute minion jokes. So one of the quotation that I mean, they used to say you're too short, you're like petite and all that, and then one of the minion joke that I found, and it says, yes, I am short, God only lets things grow until they're perfect. I didn't know how to defend myself, but they used to send me like, you're short, your height is cute. Like they will not say you're cute, they'll say your height is cute. Okay, so I used to be like, yeah, we are perfect, we are only grown till that height because we are perfect.
Good one. And I don't think so anybody else is there who is prepared or who are ready to talk. I'm the last one, so it's a good problem to have if we have more time to talk about it.
Yes,
Okay, let
I
me
could
tell.
talk also today, right? I exceeded my time, I think.
Good. So let me tell about my, this quote where you're asking. See, most of the times, sometimes when I'm with my friends, I act funny. So people say me, Sam, this is not your age to act. Like, you two, you should go according to your age and all. And I said, like, how can I go with that actually? So I remember that one of the quote, I don't know how to act my age because I've never been in this age before. So how can I, like, this is the first time I'm getting into this age. How do I know how to act in this age? Funny joke.
But I
Tell about
think
it.
you should try, Sam. I was again listening to Baman Irani, right? He's an actor, and he became an actor at the age of 48. And he's one of the finest actors or artists that we have. So you should try if you're interested.
Good one. Anyways, we'll see that. Probably, yeah. I'll get into my topics. So I'll take a little more time. But I was reading this book called Psycho-Cybernetics. Amazing book, very difficult to understand, but there are a lot of things. But in the initial pages of this book, he talks about your brain actually, how your mechanism works. He gives different examples to talk about how it says. I think last time I was talking about the second chapter. First is speak about the guidance system, what we have in our brain actually, how how a human being have a simple guidance system saying that, like, how to achieve the goal, just like animals have a goal to eat, sleep, and reproduce. So the human beings has much more than that. So they have that creative imagination and stuff, so that they can think much more than the animal. That's why we are human being and they are animals. Animal cannot do anything beyond certain points, but human being can go beyond that actually. That is because only we have creative imagination in our brains. And also it talks about success instincts, what we have in our human being. Like, every animal also has a success instinct. When it says success instinct, like example I was giving about a squirrel or maybe a bird. So when bird knows that, okay, it is going to rain in Bangalore, it can migrate to some other country. It can fly over throughout the miles and go to some other country where there is no rain. So they don't have a mariner compass, or they don't have a TV or maybe a Google to check, okay, which country is having rain or something like that. It's basically a success instinct saying, okay, if I go in this direction, there is no range, so I need to travel there. So this is a basic instinct. But human being has little more than that. They have more of creative imagination, find out, okay, what can be done in case he can take care of it. Always raining now, because human being have created so many things. Today, if I'm raining here, I have so many things to take care of myself. I don't have to migrate from here to somewhere, where I don't have free. Right? And again, it talks about how our mechanism works actually. There are two type of working in our mechanism actually. So one, he talks about where your brain knows where is the target and it works towards it, and another is where your brain do not know where is the target, but still it works. So it founds the target in a proper way. Example, in the example where he's talking about is where is the target is something like, if you sit at a home, there is a pen on the other table, there is a target, and your brain is instructing you, get up, your muscles are instructing you to walk and go there, keep your hand on the pen, pick up the pen, and everything happening in a fraction of seconds, which people don't understand that how the brain is working. It's not that automatically happening. Your brain is instructing each and every body cells that do this, go there, take your hand, go and pick up the pen and get it up, right? That is how your mechanism works actually, which most of them don't go deep into it and find out. And the next one, he talks about it, how your brain finds out problems, how it scans, because your brain is full of memories. From the starting of your birth, whenever you see things, you keep on adding memories in that. So he gives an amazing example. So you have a dark room, and in the room there are one table. In the table there are so many things, and there is a pen also on that actually, right? But you can go inside the room without any light, and you can put your hands here and there on the table, and you can spot that pen, only because your brain is stored that, okay, pen, shape of the pen, everything is, that, okay, how but unless it's a weird pen kind of thing, that, okay, there's a kind of pen we can do, that, okay, there's a tape and whatever is there. So unless it is stored in your thing, your stored imagination or maybe the memory is coming out when you're going and searching for that pen actually, right? And the second thing is, you don't know what is there on the table. Okay, they are telling that, okay, there is a table somewhere. You need to find the table and then go and do it. Actually, in that also, it is imagining. When you get into the room, I'm imagining, okay, the room can have a 4 walls or whatever. I'm going to find a wall first, and once I found the wall, I'll keep the wall and watch, hold the wall and keep on walking around that and find out the table and things like that. So your brain works in a different ways, in a different scenarios, in different situations, everything. So that is how the powerful our brain is. But problem is we don't give that push to that brain. So in example, if you want to remember a name which is forgotten by you, so when you keep on forgetting, yeah, sometimes you do that, right? Yeah, मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा, याद नहीं आ रहा, I'm not able to think. No, I'll tell you the name. I'll tell you the name, and you push your brain little here, and then top up, and then you find, okay, this is the name of it. You found the name because the memory there is a name, but you're not able to push it. So the same thing for everything you can do that, but for something you push it, something you don't push it, because depending on your requirement, sometimes you require that name to be found out, you push it and you get it, but sometimes you don't require it. So you'll be like, oh, it's okay, no problem, we'll think about it later, something like that. So that is how you're pushing your brain can open. So basically you're going and ticking your brain inside where that memory is holding it actually. So he gives another example. The author was talking to one of the doctor, and doctor says about when he was doing some brain surgery, and he was about to touch one of the brain cells inside the brain, when somewhere in the corner, just a tickle with the is surgical the knife or needle, whatever it is. And then the person who was getting operated, he was telling that, again, unconsciously saying that, I was able to remember some of the memories which happened when I was 3 years old, 4 years old. I can really see that memory within myself because he poked that memory lane which is there in the brain actually. So that is how it is. So what he's telling is about is you can poke your memory without that also, but not everybody does it, or everybody can do it also. There are a lot of effort required for that, and people can do it as well, right? And you're also talking about how your mechanism, server mechanism, what you have in your brain works in action. He was giving an example of a cricketer, right? So when somebody hits a ball and goes to the top of the maybe very high, and the person who is want to catch the ball, so he is seeing the ball and he's positioning himself. He is coming here and there, he's going left, here running in the front, and he is going and catching the ball. So in a fraction of seconds, your brain is telling you, okay, the ball is coming in the speed, and it is the coverage of that ball is so much, and if you go so much back, you can hold that ball, and whatever it is giving you, that is where people make a awesome catch, and somebody loses this because that brain is not really telling him, okay, exactly what is the speed of the ball, what is the curvature and everything. So person who puts so much of effort in the fraction of second, okay, this is how the ball is coming, this is how I'm able to catch it, then gives it and he goes and catch it up. So I think no, we never think about it, right? So how it happens. So it's something like this. You driving a car, and all of a sudden somebody comes in it, and in fraction of second you take it in a different way, and you save the accident or whatever, right? Your brain instructed it in fraction of second, instructed, and you did it, but you don't think about it. That's how the powerful is our brain is. And also it talks about computer and the brain actually. So he says human being is not a machine actually. Human being actually uses a machine. So human being is using the brain is a machine. He is using the machine actually. And also he tells about human being can create a computer, but he cannot create an operator. He can create a computer. The computer can work in a different way and things like that. And whatever computer, how much ever switches you can bring in a computer to do multiple things. Example, in a window, when I can open 10 windows and I can do different things. I can check Google in different ways and do that. But he's telling that just like what you have 10 to 15 things, what you do is in the brain you can process million things like that. Your brain can think about million things at a time. So you'll be thinking about food, you'll be thinking about coffees, you'll think about hospital, you're thinking about health, you're thinking about drinking water, whatever, thinking about your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, whatever. You keep on thinking it, and it in a fraction of second it can jump from here and to there. So he talks about it. Somebody have a emotional movement, and you start crying, and somebody comes and cracks a joke. Hey, come on, yeah, why are you doing it? And all of a sudden you start laughing. So your brain can switch in fraction of second from one area to another area better than much faster than your computer. So but we think computer is fast, but actually our brain is much faster than it. So and lastly it speaks about the answer for every solution exists in the air. So I think Thomas Alva Edison, somebody asked Thomas Alva Edison saying that, okay, how did you what is it, cracked this, he invented bulb, right? Yeah, bulb. And he asked, like, how did you invented the bulb? So he was telling, I don't want to take the credit of inventing the bulb or whatever I've done, because each and every idea is in the air. So if I would have not found it, somebody else would have founded it. Because only thing is, at that time I was a person who can found it, because what he's selling is, see, there is a frequency of your brain which operates in. So you know that in the ether, it's like internet is coming in the ether, right? So I think Sadhguru was talking about in one of the talk, he was telling about it, saying that some of the voice can be heard only by birds, some of the voice can be heard only by dogs, maybe donkeys, or snake, animals and everything. Some of the can be heard only by us, because the words, the frequency of that sound comes in, or how it comes in, if it is in our frequency of hearing, we can be heard, otherwise we cannot heard. But he was telling that in case if you listen carefully, if you can get into that frequency of listening, even what other creators are talking about, you can hear it. But it is very difficult to do it actually. What the same way the author is saying, there is ideas in the air, everything, whatever the software you're developing now, your whatever the bulb they've invented, fan they invented, everything is in the air actually. But only thing is, some people are able to think in a different frequency and grab that idea and implement it. But some of them are not able to do that. Some of them are just using the idea which is available in the market. So you pick up the same idea and you keep on executing it. But somebody who can listen to the frequency which is in the air, they pick up that idea and they execute it. That is where somebody is a very innovative idea. He came with a very new idea from whatever he's doing it. He could do that because of his frequency of working. So for that, he tells about it's all your brain which can work in that way, because there is no problem without solution. Everything has a solution in there. Only thing is, you need to find that solution. To find that solution, you need to think more. You need to poke your brain in a more and more, so that we can get up. So this the second chapter speaks about everything about how powerful is your brain. Now, what are things brain can do actually. So I need to do the next chapter of it. I think this was a summary of it. So the conclusion is saying that there is nothing powerful than our brain. So our brain is completely powerful. So if you can, this brain can help you to to death, saying that okay, you cannot do anything. At the same time, it can put you to top of the world, saying okay, you can do everything else. That's it.
Wow.
Thank
Great
you.
talk, Sam. That was fantastic. And I mean, it actually gave me jitters also. The doctor touching or tickling your brain cells. Oh, it is crazy. But I think, yeah, if we put in an effort to remember or realize something or recall something, we will definitely. And I think we do not put in that effort when we feel it is not required. Like I keep saying, I forget a lot of things. Like I forget a lot of unnecessary stuff. I don't keep them in brain. But if I put in an effort saying, okay, I need this information now, my brain gives it to me. Yeah, very, very important. And I think powerful weapon that we all have for sure. Thank you so much, Sam. Thanks a lot. I think we are done. Do we have any more?
Swati ma'am.
Swati was not in the speaker list today.
Basir, you joined. You want to speak? I think he has given the name. Last.
If it's not like, I will speak only about the first book.
Yeah, you have 4 minutes to go.
Okay, fine. Good evening, everyone. The only thing which I learned from this book is like learn and earn. So the tagline itself tell like how it's about investing. The best example what the author tells is like people simply listening to others and other advisors, they simply go and just invest the money in a stock market or any cryptocurrency. So it has been seen that we all know financial behavior, one of the booming behavioral finance. So there, one of the
We lost you.
He generally has network issues, no? Sam, you're on mute.
Yeah. Okay, I think we lost him. Bashir, are you there? Can you hear us? Okay, I think we lost him. Okay, then we'll conclude.
Yes, I think we can close, Sam. We can close for the day. We got a lot of time, whoever has joined and spoken today, so we could actually peacefully put across our thought processes also, which was a good thing. lot of learnings.
Yeah,
And
one more line I want to add with my talk. So that point which I took is motivation is overrated. So I remember somewhere I listened that people who died on a Mount Everest are the people who were highly motivated at one time. That's why they go and die there. So don't just go with the blind motivation. Just think with your mind what you want to do. Otherwise, you will be in a trap.
Definitely, definitely. I completely agree with it because I'm a firm believer of external motivation because I know that external motivation can probably for some time. That's it. Maybe one day, maybe 2 day, maximum a week. After that, it will not be there because somebody else is pushing you. See, for my understanding, from my perspective, what I've done is a discipline is one thing which I have to follow. If you're disciplined
Yes.
enough, I think anything can change it actually. The problem with everybody is this world is discipline and procrastination is one of the challenge. In case if you disciplined yourself saying, okay, if you have to get up at 5 o'clock, yes, 5 o'clock is the date time. You have to do 6 o'clock, you have to go read the book, you have to read the book at 6 o'clock. There is no excuses given. So that's how it should be. Right. So today I was thinking actually to cancel the book club. So no, some of them know that my dad is not well; he's hospitalized, and now tomorrow is his angioplasty is to go through. His critical, angioplasty has to go through tomorrow. I thought I told Tessin I want to cancel. Then I thought, it's okay. Let me tell somebody else to pick it up. Why should I cancel it? There's no point in it. So I can sit in hospital and tomorrow doing something. There is no point in sitting there. At least come to association, share something, get some motivation, as you said, external motivation, at least for one day. Keep yourself alive, say that, okay, so we can do something with that. So it's good to do that. So external
absolutely.
motivation is definitely doesn't work.
Yeah.
And most of them go with it
Okay,
also.
Sam, I will speak with the next week. No problem.
Okay, good, Bashir. So we can prepare it. And okay, then anything else, Tessin? We'll close it. Already
No,
late.
Sam, we've given 1 minute extra to everyone's life today. So yes.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Is there a funny quotation I can quote?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Yes. You can take
laugh
one
and go.
extra minute from us.
Yeah, so I'm very good at sleeping. I can do it actually by closing my eyes. So that's it. Thanks.
Oh, it is a good one. Did she get embarrassed because we laughed out loud?
No. Actually, it is good. I thought nobody else could laugh at that, but I'm feeling happy.
What do you say? Oh, she's happy that we all laughed.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Good way to come to that. You're good at sleeping.
Oh God. I will
My
post-
bad, I couldn't come on the video, so that's it.
Yeah, you can see my face for sure, Vinuta.
Yeah, looking.
Okay, that's enough. I think that's enough.
Thank you
Thanks,
all.
everyone.
Good
Good
night.
laughter therapy. Good sleep.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
all. Good night.